This video is proudly sponsored by Gamersgate. Download games anytime, anywhere. Visit Gamersgate.com.
Hey everybody, welcome to Elder Geeks Elder Speak. Today is May 21st, 2013. My name is Randy Yasenchak, editor of ElderGeek.com. In the background today, you're going to be seeing gameplay footage from Resident Evil Revelations HD, which I'm going to be playing this week and hopefully reviewing by the end of the week. Hopefully that'll be coming out soon. On the show with me today, I've got Shen, who is actually below me, who is our lead broadcaster. Hello, Shen.
How's it going?
It is going very well, sir. I've got my nice cup of coffee. We got done watching the Xbox One reveal. And
I hate saying that name already.
I'm telling you, I want to say X1 already. I'm tired of saying Xbox One already. But, I brought you on here because I kind of wanted to, spill my guts about the reveal. Hopefully you can spill your guts for the reveal as well, since you're, our lead broadcaster. For anybody who didn't watch the show today, it started off with they came out on the stage, and the first thing that they actually started talking about the new Xbox wasn't about how powerful it was or the games that it was going to be playing. They first talked about its Kinect functionalities. And some of the functionalities were kind of interesting, like having your Kinect or having your Xbox 360 control things like your television, so you could use it as a remote control without ever needing your remote control. But how did you personally feel about that?
The first thing I noticed when they first started talking about it, the thing that I didn't really enjoy too much, was they kept referring to it as a living room console.
Yeah.
They said that every chance they possibly could. And I mean, granted, the features did look kind of cool, but I mean, when you think video games, you think controller, automatically.
Right.
And that's what it comes down to. I mean, granted, there are a lot of cool things that coming out, that you've heard about in the future that are a lot of hands-free stuff and, even stuff, but it still comes down to the core, you have a controller in your hand, you're playing a video game, the response times, I mean, you can argue it and go on forever and ever with that.
Yeah, and I think the other thing was, all that stuff that they talked about, the functionalities of it with your TV, telling it, hey, switch to HBO, bring up Internet Explorer, all that kind of crap, yeah, that's fine. But you know what? I don't necessarily want that in my console. I think it's cool that it'll be in the console, but I would rather that in my television than in my console. I watch TV to watch television shows. I play my consoles to play video games. So when I realized that there's a very tight relationship between those two, but that was kind of that's a neat feature, but this shouldn't be what you're coming out of the gates with,
Yeah, especially, when they're known as a video game console, that's...
Right.
Like you said, if it was a TV, I'd be super pumped. I'd be like, cool, my TV can do this? That's awesome.
Exactly. So I hope that all the television makers out there are thinking to themselves, you know what, this is a really good idea. We should build in our machines with microphones, with some audio detecting software, and ditch our remote controls, you know? And sure, it might cost $300 more than the standard thing, but you know what? I'd buy it.
With those kind of features, yeah.
Heck yeah. And, the other thing was, one of the big rumors was that the next Xbox, or I should be calling it now the Xbox One was going to be the Xbox built in with the Kinect. So your Kinect was going to be part of your console, and you would just put your console on the top of your television console.
Yeah. And
you wouldn't have to really worry about anything. But now it's still this big ass ugly bar, and the console itself. People are joking, saying it looks like a VCR, but to me, it looks like a DVR. It looks like something you borrow from your cable company.
It's a pretty big squarish box, and I thought about the Kinect thing too, and I thought it was going to be a whole separate thing. I knew the Kinect was going to be a part of it, obviously, because it was still such a new peripheral.
Yeah.
Later years of 360, but I mean, with all the technology we have now, you would think that the sensor bar would be put right into the front of it.
Yeah. I mean, here, let me just pound out the rest of the thing so we can really spill our guts, because I'm starting to get actually a little bit angry as I'm sitting here talking about it. So after that, they come out and they talk about the actual console itself and what it looks like, and they bring out the controller. The controller looks cool. And then, kind of as what was supposed to be really enticing, they bring out stuff with, their new contract with the NFL. And then after that, they're like, here's some games that we're going to be showing. And it was Forza 4 and Call of Duty Ghosts, which is going to be on every console known to man, including PC. And that was it.
The FIFA thing, I think.
Yeah, the FIFA thing. End of show. So we had FIFA, Forza, Call of Duty.
Oh, don't forget the Remedy IP for those hardcore people out there.
Right. That Remedy IP where they showed that trailer that didn't show
the live action and then the small little CG cutscene. Yeah.
And they talked about it as though it was like revolutionary technology, but if I remember correctly, video games from 1994 had been doing these live action things in them. And if I remember correctly, some companies like Redwood Studios made them really cool in their games like Red Alert and,
Yeah.
Stop trying to tell me that like live action is now the new cool thing. We've done that already. We're past that. All right, so what are your full takeaway thoughts on this? Like, just hit me.
Right out of the gate, it would definitely be like no. Like after comparing them to like the PlayStation 4 and like what I saw for the PS4. Even though, granted, when I saw the PS4 stuff, none of the games really like stood out too much. Like yeah, some of them look cool, but I wasn't. But everything, even the features, like everything revolved around gameplay, recording your gameplay, broadcasting your gameplay, having people play games for you. I mean, even if some of them sounded silly, it all revolved around being a video game console. Whereas, the 360 revolved around, like I said earlier, they just kept hammering that living room console. And I know we were joking about it before, but they only catered to like parents. The dude bros, like you were mentioning. And,
moms, dude bros, and sports fans.
Yeah, and that's...
I am none of those things. I'm a geek. I'm the guy who, like, was buying consoles for decades now. I'm the person who was, like, supporting the video game industry for years, I'm not the mom, the dude bro, or the sports fan.
Yep, and, they showed off so much about sports, too, and don't get me wrong. You play EA Sports every once in a while. There's games. There's nothing wrong with them. The games are games, but like then they started showing off all the innovative stuff, the fantasy leagues and all that stuff, and I'm just like, this is really cool, but this isn't what I want, and I know it's not what a lot of other people want.
And it's not like people have been hindered by any of this stuff ahead of time beforehand. People have been playing fantasy, league, everything for so long. There's a show called The League. It's really hilarious. I recommend everybody watch it. That's how mainstream it is, and nobody is held up by it at all. They play their League games on their phones, and they do it on PC and Mac and everywhere else in between. To have that kind of thing available on Xbox is not going to be that revolutionary.
Uh,
Here's my takeaway, and I'll try to sum up my thoughts, and then I'll go off on angry rants, later. One, and I'll do positives first. The controller looks really badass. The controller looks really cool, and I can't wait to buy a controller to play it on my PC. Literally, I can't.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that Windows and Microsoft have enough sense to be like, yeah, all right, let's also support the PC architecture and do it that way. That's it. That's the end of my positive list. That controller looks badass, and I want to play with it. But
I don't.
No, go ahead.
I'm trying to think of, like, while you were mentioning that, I'm trying to think in my head, like, right now, like, what did I actually enjoy? Like, what are my positives? And I wasn't even too thrilled about the controller as well. Granted, I know it seems like they put a lot of work into it as far as the design and everything, the ergonomics. And the more I started reading about it, because they didn't mention a lot of stuff.
No, they didn't.
Until, like, after the event, where you started figuring out when the, Keeley went in there and did, like, the controller, like, breakdown and everything with the pressure, the pressure and the triggers and stuff with the actual, like, force feedback. It's just like, oh, okay,
that's
so this
really
controller
cool.
is really badass. So
that's the kind of shit they should have been talking about.
Yeah.
Who gives a crap about the NFL? I don't give a crap about the NFL. I'm sure there are people that give a crap about the NFL, but that should not be your selling point for your freaking console.
Nor should TV.
Nor should TV.
Yeah, nor should TV. And even out of all the like CG stuff that they showed, I know there wasn't too much gameplay. I think Call of Duty was the only one that had gameplay.
That was it.
They kept mentioning like next gen graphics, and like I didn't see anything really too impressive.
It really didn't. A lot of that stuff looked like it could have been done on current gen consoles. Even the 360, and I'm not knocking the 360 or anything like that, but a lot of that stuff that they showed looked like stuff that they could pull off on the 360, which is the oldest of the. It's the older out of the two, the 360 versus the PS3. But there was like no real in-game footage, and they talked about how Call of Duty Ghosts was going to be changing, gaming forever. Okay, that's great. That's good for you, Call of Duty. But how does that say anything about the Xbox One? Because all that crap you're putting in there is also going to be in the PlayStation version and in the PC version. So that whatever they all said about the Xbox or about Ghosts could just lop off. Didn't matter.
Yep, and then I mean they kind of teased at it. I understand a lot of people I saw from on Twitter were like complaining about, oh, it was just a console reveal. You weren't going to really expect much. But the guy even like hinted at it. He was like, we have 15 exclusives, like exclusive brand new IP titles, and I was like, you can't show like a couple of them.
You
like,
can't list those exclusives,
or at least name or
what
anything.
genres they're from. What genres
Yeah.
they're from? Could you say like 3 of them are going to be role playing games, 4 of them are sports games?
If you have 15 of them, like why not just like hit us with like 1 or 2, something that'll get like. I mean, even if it was complete, the whole entire show is complete shit. Like if you had one WoW game, new IP that really like hammered it home, like I would have been like, oh, okay, this is awesome.
He could have stood there and then showed a title screen for an imaginary game called like Dragonfire, and would have been like, new game Dragonfire is coming to Xbox One and it's exclusive. That's all I can say about it. People would be going nuts over this game, and they would be just salivating over what the possibility of Dragonfire and what it could be. But no, they didn't do any of that crap.
Nope.
I think the biggest... All right, I kind of want to refocus my thoughts here a little bit. So the good part was the controller.
Yes.
The bad part was like all this... They focused kind of everywhere, and they didn't focus on the things that they should have, which were the games first. And then they should have very specifically given out like as many hardware specs as they possibly can, and they should have given the press... And they should have sent out press releases to all the press places that weren't there, whether or not. So, like, we would have gotten one as well, saying what is known and what is not known about the Xbox 360. Everything. There should be just like a checklist of like what the 360 could do and the One, and the differences between the two, and like what it does. So, like, sure, they might not be able to put down the price, but put down the, I don't know, how fast it's going to be running, like what CPU is in it, what how much RAM is in the damn thing. All that stuff has come out, but it didn't come directly from Microsoft. All that shit should have been coming directly from Microsoft. Secondly, they should be listing the games that they're playing or planning on releasing for it. And
I mean, if you want to compare it to like the Sony reveal, even when it comes down to actually being like, if you want to just base console reveal versus console reveal, like Sony like revealed everything. They gave you the details of the whole entire system,
and people mocked them a little bit, and rightfully so, because when we were watching it, it seemed ridiculously. It seemed totally silly.
Yeah, and then you watched exactly how the other spectrum is when you don't get any kind of information, and they start using words like protons and rocket science. And you're just like, oh.
And they had what, 3 months time, 2 months time to kind of really prep it and say like, okay, here we go. Let's put down a lessons learned plan sheet from what happened with the Wii U launch and the PlayStation 4 announcement and what we need to be doing for this. And they looked at all that, and then they just shit the bed.
Yep. Being the last one for a console reveal, they should have had the best preparation ever.
Should have knocked it out of the park. And this is, I think, the thing that makes me saddest about this, and this is the truth. This is what makes me saddest about this. I was really hoping for something just jaw-dropping amazing from this, because people have been, and I might be getting pounced on this, but people have been kind of disappointed with the Wii U and the way it's been selling and what types of games are out for it and everything like that, and how much of a powerhouse it is versus even the current generation consoles. Okay, that's like a legitimate concern that people have. The PlayStation 4 announcement came out, and that still didn't really get that many people excited. Most people were looking at it and going, okay, yeah, that's great. This is going to be a really expensive console, but what can I really do on here that I can't currently do on PC? How is this improving my gaming experience? Like, sure, I might be streaming my video games, but do I really want to, kind of thing? Like, is it giving me anything that I want to? And so Xbox didn't push that envelope. They just kind of furthered that, man, what am I going to do with this? And I think back to the time when the Wii was announced. There was this new motion-controlled game system coming out, and everybody's minds just exploded over what could have possibly been coming out for this console. Everybody instantly thought of sports games that were using the controllers for, which they used the controllers for. They thought about adventure games where you're going to be using the controller for a sword. Everybody was thinking about like Star Wars games where you're using the motion to actually force, push, and pull things. So just right off the bat, motion control. People were going crazy. When the 360 was announced and people were showing off, it was two things that people were psyched about. Holy crap, I can actually play online games with my friends and shoot them in the faces in real time and talk to them. And I don't need to have a really expensive PC to do it anymore. And it looks just as good as a really expensive PC. So here are these things that people were getting as like console living room gamers. They were getting like an internet experience, and they were getting like really awesome high-end graphics in the middle of their living room. And the PlayStation 3, when that was announced and everything like that, you know, the big jazz about that was, holy crap, the cell processor is going to be amazing, and I can't wait to see what kind of graphical fidelity is going to be pushed forward with this black box. I don't get any of that with this generation. With the Wii U, I'm thinking, oh, okay, that's neat. It's a touchscreen. All right, I got that on my iPad. Cool. With the PlayStation 4, it was a lot of the same thing. It's like, okay, this is all stuff that I'm doing on my PC. You're even telling me that it's like a PC architecture, so why am I not just going PC, especially if you're going to be pricing pretty close to a PC right now?
Yeah.
And the 360 was just even more of that. Instead of me being excited for what they're going to be giving me possibilities for, I'm really kind of disappointed, and I'm like thinking to myself, why do I need to buy this? They've given me no justification to want to buy these.
Yeah, at this point, it's going to be like exclusives. It's going to come down to an exclusive war.
Yeah.
Because I mean, as far as features go, there's anything that's, like you said, jaw dropping, and because of this Xbox One console reveal, you've already got a lot of people that are starting to look at the PlayStation 4 in a different light. They're just like, okay, well, this is the lesser of the evils. So it's like now it's just going to come down to IP releases, like what's going to have the best exclusives.
It truly is. And there's a couple of things that kind of even support what I was saying, and absolutely what you're saying too. When the PlayStation 4 was announced, PC sales, like PC gaming sales, skyrocketed. Everybody was kind of starting to switch over, like, okay, I'm just going to do gaming PC so I can play next generation graphical games now. When this was announced, the PlayStation stocks went up. When the Xbox One was announced, PlayStation stocks went up. That's crazy. That's not showing any type of confidence within your consumer base at all. If they did a good job after those events, their stocks should have skyrocketed. But they didn't. It was the exact opposite. Their competitors' stocks skyrocketed. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I'm sure they're gonna be turning in their sleeves over that one.
I think
something that doesn't go ignored.
Yeah. The big thing that you and I were talking about a little bit before the show, and this is something I think a lot of people should be mad about, or they will get mad about, both gamers and developers alike, is the fact that the 360 and everything on the 360 is not going to be supported on the 360 or on the Xbox One. Everything. Games, Xbox Live Arcade. So all of those awesome games that you bought on Xbox Live Arcade
won't transfer.
They won't transfer. So you better pray to God that your 360 is going to live for the rest of your life. Ha ha ha. You know, because what the failure rate on those fucking things is like 80%. I'm the only person that I know of that is still on my first 360.
I'm thankfully still. Well, no, I have sent that one in once. I still have an older
See?
one. Yeah, I've got a newer one that's still going, but I've had an older one I sent it once.
So what do you do when your 360 takes a brick? You know, you're gonna have to find some dude locally that's gonna be repairing them, because Microsoft at a point is gonna be like, we don't repair those anymore.
Yeah, it's gonna be bad.
Yeah, you're gonna have to like download all your downloadable games now and pray that your 360 doesn't break. Because if they're not supporting them next generation, that's going to stink. And here's the really crappy side, and this is the big slap in the face to all the developers out there. There are developers right now who still have a ton of Xbox Live Arcade games, and this is both on the indie side and the non-indie side, who haven't released yet. So if they're releasing a game anytime between now and, say, November when the Xbox One releases, their sales I'm probably expecting to just be crap. Or at least not nearly as good as they were before today.
Yeah, I'd honestly like to kind of know how many of those smaller developers, like the indie developers, didn't know about this, about like a new, like this year release, and have later releases, like, you know, those closer to like the end of the year that have indie games getting released on the Xbox Live, that were like super pumped, put all the resources in this, and then they're like, get slapped in the face with, okay, so.
I don't think that there's anything that they would have known. I think Microsoft has been incredibly tight-lipped about this release, because the owner of GameStop did not know that Microsoft was going to be doing this fee on used sales. Like, he had found out about it during this event. And if there's one guy that would want to know about the fee on used sales, it would be him. And then that's actually another big thing that we should probably be talking about. When you buy a game for the Xbox One, You install it onto the hard drive. It's a mandatory install. I have no problems with that. Install it on the hard drive. It'll run a lot quieter and faster right on the hard drive. That's cool. But you can't take that game, and I can't run it over to your house and be like, dude, you got to play this game. It's freaking awesome. Without you doing one of two things. Either one, signing in under my name, which bullshit. I mean, I love you, Shen, but I'm not giving you my signage. And then two, or if you were to take it and sign in for yourself and play it, you'd have to pay a fee to install it. No, like they're not even clear on what that is yet. Like
they said they tried to hammer out. I think I read in there's an official Twitter response to it where they were saying like they're not good, but
wait, time out. There's another huge problem. An official Twitter came out from them about whether they're going to be having a fee for used games. Again, this shit should be on a freaking fact sheet that just be going around to all press everywhere.
But they never actually guarantee, like, they don't say anything. They just say there's a plan. That's all they say. There's a plan for this.
I think the plan is they're going to react to how much of a PR crap storm they're stirring up right today,
Mm.
So... yeah, their plan is it's either going to be like you pay full price for the game if it's still a brand new game, or maybe you pay a little bit less if it's an older game. So
it's like a trial or something. Like if it's not like tied to your Xbox, maybe they let you play for like 3 days, and then after that you have the option of buying. I don't even know.
I'd hope so, dude, because otherwise there's going to be a few problems with that. One, game rentals and places that actually rent out games are going to have a fit. So GameFly, really started to get into the PC downloadable game sales, which is probably a good idea on their behalf, because if you can't rent games for your Xbox One anymore, then why have it? Like with consoles, like that was the great thing like about my consoles. I loved the fact that I could rent games for them. I was playing tons of games that I couldn't play on my PC because I could rent them, play them, and send them back because they might not have been the best, but otherwise I would have never had the chance to play them.
Yeah. And that was like the other reason why I have as many consoles as I do, because I mean I love playing PC games, and I'm definitely an earlier adopter. Well, not too early, but I've recently gotten into it. But I've always been a console gamer. Like that's what I first started with, and even still, like I was like I love my 360, I love my PlayStation 3, I love my PS2, whatever, just because of the exclusives that are on there.
Yeah,
I can't get on PC, but everything's on PC now, and to be honest, like I'd rather just play them on PC. It's just
and the other thing is like now for developers to turn a profit anymore, they almost have to put everything onto PC and the new Xbox and the new PlayStation for them to turn a profit. So I don't know. They're making it easy for me to not want to buy a next generation console, to be honest with you. And
yeah.
The other thing is you got to really worry about the financial aspect of it, because I mean, unless they're really planning on some huge announcements for like some just massive games that must be played, I can't see myself spending that kind of money. I mean, aside from being able to afford it, it's not like Microsoft is going to be like, here you go, Randy and ElderGeeks.com, here's your console to play and review games on. They don't do that, everybody.
Yeah.
Well, all that comes out of our pockets. So, and dev kits are even more expensive.
Yeah.
Dev kits are ridiculous. I think even if you wanted to get a dev kit right now for a 360, the price is ridiculous.
You might as well just build a brand new PC and just wait.
Might as well just build a brand new PC and wait. Now, you and I were also saying like they would need to have some kind of exclusive to really pull us over. I can't think of any exclusives that they're going to have that would pull me over. The only thing I can think of is if they did the next Red Dead game. If they were like, dude, this is going to be Xbox exclusive, all right, maybe I'll consider it.
Well, I mean, I am excited to see what kind of new IPs they have. Like, I was saying this earlier in the chat. Like, I don't get excited about games anymore. Like, not as often as I used to. When the 360 first came out and they started showing off like Gears of War, the original.
So many cool games. Yeah.
I was just like, oh man, I can't wait to play this. I've never seen anything like this. Just you could pile it on like brand new franchises. But now look, we're like Gears of War 3, Judgment. I mean, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, Revelations,
God of War, Ascension.
Yeah, it just keeps going and going, and I haven't seen a real new IP. And like I said, that's why I said BioShock Infinite was like such a nice little breath of fresh air. And
I think that's why everybody's really excited about Watch Dogs too. Brand new name,
brand new title, like awesome looking game. That's what I'm saying. If Xbox is hoping to pull out anything as far as the gamer crowd goes, like I know if I showed this to my parents, they'd be like, like super excited, like freaking out.
I can talk to you on Skype on my TV.
You can be over here, and they're like, I can switch channels by just saying. I'm just like, yeah, Mom, you can. But I know they'd be excited. But right now, unless these brand new IPs that they say they have that are exclusives, really don't see anything to warrant the money.
Mm-mm.
And I'm not just being like mean towards Xbox. Same thing goes with like PlayStation. I mean, the stuff does look cool on PlayStation, but the way it goes is I'd probably get a PS4 before an Xbox One.
Yeah.
But it won't be anytime soon.
And the other thing is, we also, guys like you and I, and all the other YouTubers and streamers out there and everything like that, also need to consider the recording aspect of it all.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, if anybody is curious, the way we record stuff, if I'm recording something on my PC, I record directly to my PC. If I'm recording a console game, I use a Blackmagic device, which runs my 360 or my PlayStation 3 into my computer, and then I use my computer to record the footage. And in order to actually do that, you need to use your component cables. There are a few HDMI recorders out there, but they're a lot more expensive than the Blackmagic. Some of them are not super duper reliable, and then there's other ones that are just kind of crap. So in order for like the next generation of stuff, we not only do we have to think about like buying that console, but we also have to think about buying the recording side of everything as well. So it'll be new console plus the cost of a new capture card plus the cost of game.
Well, that's the other thing I was looking at too when we were looking at the pictures. Did you see any other like place for like AV, like anything like that, or was it just strictly HDMI?
On the back of the Xbox One, and I'll try to pop up a video or an image of it right now. There is an HDMI in and out on the back of it, and that's it. There's no component.
What about people that still haven't adopted into like newer TVs, like that don't have HDMI ports or anything like that?
Too bad for all of them.
See, that's
too bad.
I mean, knowing Microsoft will pop out like an adapter or something. Like
oh yeah, but the adapter itself will be like $35.
Yeah.
And then the knockoff brands and stuff will all be coming out. But, dude, honestly, here's the final big bad thing about this. Apparently, all the television architecture things that they have in place aren't going to work anywhere outside of North America. And even if you are in North America, it has to be through like an approved provider. So right now, I use Comcast. I don't know who you have.
Time Warner.
Okay, Time Warner is probably supported. There are a lot of places in rural America that do not go through Comcast or Time Warner or Google or anything like that. It's still like smaller cable companies that are probably not going to be supported through the Xbox 360. So right there, 1/3 of their presentation has just been thrown right out the window by more than half of the world.
Not only that, but I'm not going to say it's confirmed or anything, but I've seen stuff floating around, but that's supposedly a separate package, like a separate thing completely from... like some, like I said, it could be rumor. Don't quote me. Don't do anything about that. I've just seen some stuff floating around that the TV aspect, all that cool stuff that you saw, is going to be completely separate package from what you would normally have, like versus the gaming and stuff like that. So there's a good chance that you'll probably be paying for Xbox Live, which is a given, and then on top of that, a premium thing, like almost like Netflix.
It's look, all that TV stuff was cool, but again, just put it into my television. I don't need to have an entire console on my desk to freaking put all that stuff together for me. So Xbox One has me walking away from the end of this for the next generation. Really kind of scared for gaming, dude. Really scared for gaming.
Yeah, I remember when I actually used to get super excited for these kinds of things. I'm hoping this E3 kind of, turn something around, because as of the last couple ones, I've just nothing has been like a complete wowing moment for me.
Well, I think this actually, that also kind of ties into Nintendo a little bit. I wanted to touch on them as well. They're kind of coming forward, and during their last show, they basically said, "Hey, we're not going to be doing an E3 show this year. We're just going to have our games there, and you can play them." I think it's a good move. Let people play the games that they have, and let them get excited about what they have to say, instead of like having nerds like us at home pick apart everything that they say and say,
yeah, definitely.
You're only doing this for my mom. But I think the other really good move that they did was Nintendo, during E3, you can play the games that they're going to be having at E3 in like a bunch of Best Buys across the nation, which works in a couple of ways. One, people who want to see this kind of stuff, so gaming press people who couldn't, they can go and experience. And two, because the Wii U has not been selling that well, it's going to be a ton of great PR for the Wii U. People are going to be seeing this, and then while they're there, they're like, hey, this is going to be really cool when this comes out. I might as well get the Wii U now while I'm here at the store.
Mm-hmm. It's a very good move by them, and I mean, I have one, and I only have one game for it. I enjoy the console.
What is it?
Yeah, I only have Monster Hunter for it.
Oh, I thought you would have like Zombie U or even Lego Universe.
Haven't tried that stuff yet. I mean, I like what they have, and the thing about Nintendo is, I know it's going to be a lot of like the same IPs, but it's going to be stuff I want to play.
Yeah.
So I can wait. They may not always be the strongest out of the gate, but I know eventually there'll be stuff. But
people will go back to play Zelda. People will go back to play Metroid. People will go back if they're like, hey, guess what? The next Kid Icarus isn't going to be a 3DS game. It's going to be on the Wii U. There's going to be a lot of people that are going to go and play that.
Mm-hmm.
So people knock how much, like, and including me, I have knocked Nintendo 1,000 times because they keep recycling these old IPs. But at least those games are good.
Yeah, it's what we go back to. It's what we grew up with. It's what we like.
People go back to them for a reason. They're really good games, And that's exactly what Nintendo or Microsoft did not show off, was any really good games. There was no reason for me to think of getting a 360.
Not at this point.
Not at this point.
E3's right around the corner.
I'm still really excited about E3. I'm more excited. People are going to be like clamoring over one another to get closer to the Xbox 360 and everything, or the Xbox One and possibly the PlayStation 4. I'm not. I want to go and look at the games. I don't give a crap what I'm playing them on. I want to play the games.
Yeah.
So, yeah. That's that.
Pretty much.
Just sad. I'm just really sad coming out of that. I wanted it to be good. I wanted that to be like, booyah! Suck it, everybody. You all know how to play catch up to this one contender in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
Nope, that ain't happening. Now it's just gonna be, here's more games. Hopefully.
Yep.
But about E3, and about me going to E3, yeah, I'm going. I'm going by myself. I'm not going with a crew. I don't have a beautiful video camera to take with me. I don't have a microphone or anything like that. I've got my iPod, I've got my iPhone, and that's about it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go around. I am going to try to take as much video footage as I possibly can. I'm going to try to, talk to as many people as I possibly can. But because it's just going to be me in charge of like talking to everybody and organizing everything, I might not be able to get all the footage and the videos out immediately. So look forward to my E3 stuff. I just might not be able to do it right then and there. Plus, my hotel is not the hottest hotel in LA, so I might get there and I might not be able to upload a darn thing.
Chances are you won't.
I might be plugging my computer into like a potato or something. So, but yeah, man, I'm just scared for like the next generation of consoles. I'm not scared for the next generation of games, because there's still a lot of really cool looking games coming out. Like, I'm super psyched still for Company Heroes 2. I'm very, very, very excited for Witcher 3. There's of course Rome looks completely badass. That game that came out that was actually a lot better than I was expecting it to be. What the heck was it called? Mars Warlogs.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, it was a lot better than I was expecting it to be. It wasn't a great game, but it just was seeping with potential. But they announced a fantasy RPG coming out too, so I'm hoping to see some of that at the show as well. I don't know, it's little stuff like that I'm excited about. I'm actually excited about the games.
Yeah.
And I used to be excited about the consoles.
I remember those days, especially.
When the consoles were announced, it was like, here's the console, and here's the 40 games that are coming out with it! Grand Theft Auto 3!
And when you think of like console reveals and new console releases, it's like, you think of a huge gap. Every time you look at the system to system between them, it's been a huge gap. Like PS2 to PS3, major difference.
Yeah.
Seeing the games on PS3 for the first time, I was just like, no way, this is blowing my mind.
Right.
Same thing with like original Xbox at 360, and now it's just kind of like,
it's like, dogs. All right. You guys had dogs in World at War, I remember.
Yep. Except for this time, now you can you can have them helping you instead of just killing you.
Who cares? Oh God. That totally just proves the point of that first-person shooter video I did like a week ago. It's gonna be awesome.
I think I lost it when I saw the mocap on the dog.
I know.
I lost it when I saw that. I was just like, oh, all right.
This is what you're coming forward with, huh? You chucked some mocap balls on a dog. Great. Gaming is saved for another day.
I think I even saw floating through my Twitter account a tweet from Cliffy B just going, a game dev diary Infinity Ward? Really?
Yeah, right?
Like, oh, he's got it right.
All right. Well, here's hoping that the 15 games or however many games that they've actually promised it, here's hoping that they're actually going to be decent games. Here's hoping that they're not going to be like 10 freaking Kinect-based BS games. Here's hoping that they drop the BS you can't lend a game to your friend system anymore. Look, dude, here's exactly why. If I can't lend games to you, then there's really no reason for me to buy a console. None. Zero. There is zero reason for me to buy a console, and there is 100% reason to buy a PC instead, or to build a PC instead. Because the architecture is already in place on PC. You've got tons of options as to where you can want to buy your games, whether it be Steam, Good Old Games, Gamersgate, Green Man Gaming. There's a ton of different places you can buy games from, and you can get the cheapest price that you can find out of all of them, and they all work on your machine.
Mm-hmm.
But with the Xbox 360 crap, you've all got to get it from, like, you know, through Microsoft, or the Xbox One stuff. You got to get it all through Microsoft. And, you know, they're always going to get their, like, $5 cut or $10 cut on every single sale of every single game. People keep saying, like, oh, it'll be nice because if they're going to be doing all this digital distribution crap, maybe they'll be able to sell games for cheap. I don't think they will.
No.
I really don't. Basically, what it's building is, and I don't want to call this a Steam box, but it is a box that is basically giving you an architecture similar to Steam, where it's going to give you your list of games that you own and you can download them and play them, you know, based off of what I've read and seen. But in a closed market, you know, in a market that is 100% controlled by Microsoft, as though there is no other competition like Origin or the Uplay store or Steam, you know?
Yeah.
So for the sake of just market diversity, I think smart gamers out there really need to look at this next Xbox before they buy it and think to themselves, is this definitely something that I want? You know?
You're taking bigger risks, and reviewers like us are going to be scrutinized a lot more because you're not going to be able to rent games and try them for yourself. And we all know, I mean, not everyone has the same taste. We can say a game's completely amazing, and somebody can play it and completely hate it. And you just drop like $60, $70 on a brand new game that you can't get rid of anymore.
That you can't rent.
Yep,
Whoops.
you can't try.
You can't get it from GameFly ahead of time and try it before you buy. Yeah, you're right, dude. People will be looking at us like hardcore. You said this game was awesome. I wasted $50 on this. It's terrible.
I can't do anything with the disc. I can't give it away. I can't sell it.
Yeah, exactly. They're
bad.
saying that they're trying to set up a way to sell used games on their marketplace.
Oh.
Great. If you got that in place, awesome. Maybe you shouldn't have done the reveal until you had that in place and, you know, had something for us to actually look at. Because until then, man, just going to get steamrolled.
And especially if they don't mention anything resolving that at E3, people are still going to be like, what?
Yeah, dude, there's a lot of things they need to be doing by E3 with this, which is in a couple weeks. So they need to like come forward with price sheets on this thing. Like they need to. They can't dance around that at all. Because price is going to be a huge factor. They need to come up with storage space. They need to come out with a clear and decisive answer as to whether or not it actually is always online connected. Because they're saying, oh no, you don't need it to be all online connected all the time. Now, does that mean you need to be connected on all the time to start a game initially, and then you can put it into offline mode?
Yeah, they kind of dance around that. I mean, I even caught the thing at the end where he asked that. He's like, "Can we put this whole rumor to rest?" And he was like, "You don't have to be online." He goes, "But if you want to use all the online capabilities, obviously you're going to need an internet connection." And then he kind of laughed. He was like, I mean, he's like, this is our day and age. You know, everyone's connected to the internet. It's like, well,
Yeah. What exactly does that mean? All the online capabilities are a good number of the games going to be using their cloud capabilities? You know, and if so, that game, is it going to become unplayable if you're offline?
yeah.
You know, too many unanswered questions and not enough excitement for it. There should the excitement and the unanswered questions should be things like, tell me more about this game. Tell me more about, you know, the different models that you guys are going to be coming out with this awesome box. But instead, it's just
People
Dude.
worrying.
worrying and disappointment across the board. I have not seen anybody that was like, yeah, that looks great. And if
I
you
just
are
have
one
a
of
lot
those
of
people,
people-
I want to be drinking whatever you're drinking.
Yeah. I mean, we have a lot of optimists that are just like, it's just console reveal. We'll see more at E3. It's like, cool. Let's
Yeah.
keep positive, but so far, I'm still scared.
And I don't want people to think that I'm some kind of PC master race guy, because I love my consoles.
Mhm.
I really do. I have PS3, 360, and Wii, and my PC. But
I mean, you can see my entire game collection like
Yeah.
right there. Like, that's all console. Like, I was a console before PC. I didn't know anything about PC gaming, and
dude, I love them. Console games are great. They're perfect for what you need them for. But man, this is just freaking scary, dude. And
Mhm.
this kind of goes back to what I wanted to actually talk about in an earlier Elder Speak, but I couldn't record because something actually came up. I'm really kind of sad about the Wii U a little bit, about how like poorly it's selling, and you know, the fact that companies like EA are just like, yeah, we're not even gonna throw anything at the Wii U. So to you guys, I'm really sad about that, because when you think back to like when we were younger, when we were kids, when I was growing up, there was like, you first had your Atari, and there were thousands of competitors for the Atari. But then it was the NES, and the competitor for the NES was the Atari 5200, and like eventually, can't remember what the other one was, but it basically they got blown out of the water. But there was the NES, and there was the Sega Master System. And the great part about it was the games that appeared on both of those systems were completely different. You couldn't play anything that appeared on the NES that appeared on the NES.
there was nothing that played for him like that were the same.
Right, and so here were like two of these vastly different libraries of games, and they were vastly different in like mentality and how they were kind of put together. And it even went on to the next generation, where you had the Super Nintendo and the Sega Genesis.
Mm-hmm.
You know, different combinations of buttons and different you know, graphical capabilities pushed forward completely different games. Sure, there were some games that like did some cross-platform stuff, but even then, people were always like, yeah, clearly the better one was, you know, on the Genesis, or clearly the better one was on the.
And they even
on the
look
SNES.
different. Yeah.
But a lot of the games, like, here's a great example. Disney's Aladdin was totally different on SNES versus Genesis.
Yeah.
We're not going to have that anymore. We are no longer going to have the great games that were once on the GameCube versus the PlayStation 2. So, like the Resident Evil 0 or the initial release of Resident Evil 4. We're not going to have those great games anymore. Now it's going to be all these great games that are going to be appearing equally good on PC, PlayStation 3, and Xbox One. Or PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. So what's going to be the purpose of buying multiple consoles anymore?
So I said it's going to be the year of the exclusives.
It needs to be. It needs to be.
That's what it comes down to.
And it won't even be like PC Master Race crap. It's going to be because I already have a PC that can run all that stuff really, really well. So why am I going to buy a unless you're coming forward with the next Red Dead game or something, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And timed exclusives, I do not care about. Go ahead and hang on to your game for a month extra on whatever console. I can wait.
Yeah, it needs to be strictly like you cannot play this on any other thing but this console.
And I don't think we're ever going to be seeing that ever again.
Mm-mm.
I don't. And that was a big reason why games like World of Warcraft, Minecraft, wow, all the really big, nice games on PC all end in craft. Or at least those two. You know what I mean? Like, PC stayed valid over all these years, even though people kept saying, oh, PC is dead. There was tons of games that you could only really do on PC, you know? But now all of this is, the playing field is becoming leveled. And as far as, like, consumers go, that's going to be really boring. You know?
Sure.
Any final thoughts from you?
No more console wars. That's a pro. That could be a pro, right?
Our kids are gonna be like, Dad, what's a console war? Or better yet, what's a console?
Yeah.
They would have been better off if they came forward and said, if I was Microsoft, here's how I would have done it. I would have come out of the gate with the 15 exclusive games, like right off the bat. Here are the 15 exclusive games that we have. I'm not even going to give you the details on 13 of them, but here they are, and they better be good. And like I said, not 10 of them better not be stupid Kinect-based, games.
Which we know some of them will be.
Yeah, whatever. That would be step one. Step two would be talking about like how powerful the machine is. Like I would literally be pumping like, dude, we are going to be cranking out graphical, the graphics on this are going to be like equaling PCs right now. It's going to be blowing away the PlayStation 4. I'll be saying like dozens of things. I'd be Molyneuxing it up to the place, just glorifying how awesome the graphics are going to be. And then, finally, I would say, oh, and you know what? On top of all that really cool stuff, you can connect it to your TV. You can have it control, like, where you're going and everything like that. And then the big final thing, which makes the whole rest of the thing worthless, I would make it so that it was actually a DVR. Who cares if I can switch to some other channel on live television? I don't watch live television anymore.
Yeah, let me know if I can
live
record
television anymore?
Let me know if I can record my shows, please.
Right, exactly. If I can record my shows, then all right, we're talking about it. But now we're talking about live TV? Haven't watched live TV in 4 years. Between Netflix, on demand, and just recording my shows so I can skip commercials, who the shit watches live TV anymore?
Yeah.
So
we'll see.
Yeah, that's it. No more final thoughts?
None that I could think of.
All right.
Pretty set with the ranting.
Yeah. Here's hoping that E3 is actually going to be picking up the paces. There's a lot of people that are saying, oh, wait till E3. I shouldn't have had to wait until E3. They should have actually given me something to be excited about now, and they haven't. I'm still excited about going to E3, but I'm excited about more going for the games. Subscribe to us. Follow Shen on our Twitch channel. Shen has refired up his backlog challenge where you have how many games left in your backlog?
It's 141, but I'm 12 deep, so
nice.
Now. Yeah.
Nice.
It's going pretty good.
Yeah. So Shen's going through his massive backlog of games and streaming them from beginning to end.
So come check that out. I do that now Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Sweet.
Generally early-ish morning. Around 11 a.m., no later than 12 p.m. So if you guys want to come over to the Twitch page, come hang out and watch. If you guys are at work or maybe not at work, for those of you guys that are European, I know that time's perfect for you guys. So
yeah. And then on Thursday nights, you guys also do Two Button Panic, which is a really sweet retro show, which I wish I could watch more, but on Thursday nights, that's the exact same time that we record Game Club. So honestly, check out the Twitch TV channel. We've always got a ton of cool stuff going on there. And then, of course, our next charity event, whenever that's going to possibly be, is going to be on that same channel. So be sure to follow them. Like I said, right now I'm working on this Resident Evil game. I am drawing my butt off with this next 25 games for my son. I've cranked out as many drawings as I possibly could over the past couple of days. And I really, really, really want to have it done and off my plate for the next before I go to E3, because the next story... Here, I'll spoil the story for everybody. I get to talk about how my finger became to look like a squished grape. That'll actually
be... It's a good story.
It is. It actually is a really good story, but that'll be the next story for the next 25 games for my son. I guess that's it. Subscribe to us. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook. Of course, here on YouTube. And talk to you all soon.